The festival is held in honor of the seafood and petroleum industries that have provided food, energy, and jobs to Louisiana and the entire nation for more than 120 years. Known as the jumbo shrimp capital of the world, Morgan City, the only city in the Atchafalaya Basin, features all species of fish known to the lower Mississippi and Atchafalaya River. In the 1880s, oyster shucking, packing, and shipping to New York and California provided jobs to the people throughout South Louisiana. Crab meat and Gulf shrimp are now major industries with worldwide reach. In 1936, members of Gulf Coast Shrimpers and Oystermen's Association held a small celebration on Labor Day. The next year, the shrimp and oyster boats were blessed for a good catch, a tradition started by local resident Paul Aiken LeBlanc that has been done each year on Labor Day weekend. The discovery of oil in 1947 revolutionized the economy of South Louisiana, and in 1967, the name was changed to the Louisiana Shrimp and Petroleum Festival.
Labor Day weekend is the traditional time that we celebrate the Louisiana Shrimp and Petroleum Festival, which, by the way, happens to be the oldest chartered harvest festival in the state of Louisiana. It's been going on now for 75 years, and of course, this is our 75th anniversary. Kind of in conjunction with that, the city of Morgan City, in the same year, is celebrating its 150th anniversary. So we're kind of combining forces. We'll be celebrating the fact that we've had this government here for 150 years, and this settlement here, and the Shrimp Festival celebrating their 75th anniversary all at the same time.
Today I'm cooking, the old people used to make a shrimp stew. Well, I took that shrimp stew and just added a little more ingredients to it and called it a shrimp creole. The shrimp around here is, it's fresh. You get it right off the boat. And, frozen shrimp, it doesn't taste like the fresh shrimp. The fresh shrimp is what really got the flavor, And it's nothing like it down South Louisiana. We got some of the best shrimp there is. These are shrimp that I just boiled. They were fresh. And I put some water in the pot, and I used lemon and some of South Louisiana's favorite seasoning. And I put lemons and onions and celery, and I put them in the hot water. And when the water came to a boil, I timed them 6 minutes. And then I boiled them for 6 minutes, and then I let them set for about 7, 8, 10 minutes. Shrimp will float whenever they boil, and then whenever they soak the seasoning up, they'll sink, and then it's time to take them out.
What's the difference between shrimp that people may purchase in the store that may be imported shrimp and fresh Louisiana shrimp?
Well, the difference is if you're going to get that shrimp from the import, they got to go through a solution, to keep them so they can stay fresh. And our shrimp is right off the boat, and we don't put nothing on them but just clear water to clean them. That's all. Straight from the net, right to the deck, right to the table. That's the difference, And we got a lot of bays and our estuaries are mixed with salt and fresh. So that way we got a much better shrimp. They are tender, and they adapt to the kind of the fresh water and the salt water both.
Taste-wise, what's the difference between imported shrimp and fresh Louisiana shrimp?
Well, the fresh shrimp tastes the best. In other words, if you take a catfish or a shrimp and take them right out of the net and put them in the pot, you're going to taste better than the one that's going to be frozen or put some kind of solution on it to keep him fresh. It's no comparison with the fresh shrimp.
Morgan City was at one point in time titled as the shrimp capital of the world. Brown shrimp were discovered off the coast of Morgan City in the Gulf of Mexico, and the shrimping fleet was developed as a result of that. And for many years, if you traveled to Morgan City and crossed Berwick Bay, on both sides of the river, you would see as many as 300 to 400 shrimp boats docked along the river, and there were 2 shrimp packing factories along the river where they would unload their catch, take on ice and groceries, and go back out into the Gulf and start all over again. My father came to the Morgan City area when he was 15 years old, and he had always been involved as an outdoorsman and loved being on the water, and subsequently started working in the shrimping industry. And in the early stages of the industry, the gentleman who was selected as king, and in those days they also had dukes, the captains of the boats would record their catches, and whoever had the largest catch would be the king, and the other men who had in various different numbers would end up as dukes. And in 1954, my father was a duke in the Shrimp and Petroleum Festival as a result of the total tonnage that he had caught that particular year.
And how did it make you feel when you were later became king?
It was quite an honor. My father had been deceased for quite a while when I was asked to have the role as the 67th king of the Louisiana Shrimp and Petroleum Festival. And I was asked as a result of his work in both industries, because he actually worked in the oil industry later on, but also as an acknowledgement of the volunteer activities I had done with the festival for quite a number of years. Offshore oil drilling started right off the coast of Morgan City. The first successful well was drilled a few miles off the coast here, and Morgan City was then again on the map for offshore drilling. The festival in the 1960 celebration, which was the city's 100th anniversary, paid tribute to the oil industry. And in 1967, we actually had a dual setup with kings. We had a shrimp king and we had a petroleum king. And the board decided, or the association at that time decided, that we would rename the festival as the Louisiana Shrimp and Petroleum Festival, and we would alternate years. One year we would have a shrimp-related king, next year we would have an oil-related king.
I was born in Morgan City. I am a Morgan City native. And I was very fortunate in 1968 to become the Louisiana Shrimp and Petroleum Festival queen. And the festival was so good to me and gave me so many opportunities of being able to travel the state and to travel to Washington, D.C. to represent this festival and represent my hometown, that I stayed active with the festival and have worked my way up, and now I am the president of the organization.
We begin our festival this year on Thursday night, and we will have a ribbon cutting ceremony. We are going to tie this in with the 150th anniversary of the city of Morgan City. Once the ribbon cutting ceremony takes place, we will then ask all our guests to move into the park. We will have a band this year on Thursday night in the park. On Friday, everything starts around 5 o'clock. The carnival rides open, the booths, food, commercial, and arts and crafts under the elevated highway open. Cajun Culinary Classic, which is held in the park, is open, and bands in the park start at 6 o'clock. On Saturday, everything kicks off at noon. The carnival rides, the booths under the bridge. We have Children's Day activities beginning at 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. There are games, relay races, and that in the park. Children's Village opens at 1 o'clock. We have a children's parade around 11:30 in the morning. We have meet and greet our festival royalty from around the state. We have visiting queens that come in, and they will be introduced in the park about 1 o'clock. Bands start in the park, and it's a continuation of food, music, and fun until midnight on Saturday night. On Sunday, we begin early with a mass in the park. It starts at 8:30. They will then move on to, they come here to our office after the mass is over with, on their way to the dock to do the blessing of the boats, and which is at 10 o'clock. Around 3 o'clock that afternoon, we have a street parade, which has been a tradition for ours for quite a few years. Once people usually come in for the mass in the park, it just seems like they find their spot somewhere, and they picnic the whole day. At 9 o'clock that night on our river, the Atchafalaya River, we have fireworks on the river, and we have a band. On Monday, everything begins again at noon, and it goes on until 9 o'clock that night. The official closing of the festival is at 9 o'clock Monday night. We go through Labor Day, which is Monday, the 6th of September.